This is TWiT.
The discussion has heated up and the Linux community has once again gone crazy. 2026, people hate, here today in 2026, people hating most mainstream distros for using systemd and their evil age setting field. And before that was the hate for everyone moving to Wayland because, well, I suppose because everyone has their own niche side case that didn't work well for them in 2019. Well, now everyone hates Canonical for, well, I guess people hated Canonical before this because of snaps and Amazon ads and lots of things. Anyway, now they hate Canonical for one more thing, and that is trying to make Ubuntu more like Windows 11 and with their AI Copilot. At least that's kind of how some commenters describe it. Canonical's VP of Engineering describes it a little differently. John Seeger posted a long explanation how the future of AI in Ubuntu is going to be. So the short version is that Canonical is planning to bring AI features into Ubuntu over the next year, but they are trying very hard to frame this as careful, local, and optional as possible. Optional being the key word. Yet on my socials this week, people keep talking about Ubuntu forcing AI on them. I don't know what part of optional they cannot comprehend, but there it is. The first features that are what they call implicit AI. These are features where AI improves something that already exists without necessarily feeling like a chat bot bolted on to the desktop. Think better speech to text, better text to speech, accessibility improvements, which is something Linux has long struggled with. And maybe camera focus and other behind the scenes improvements, just the things that are already there. The second category is explicit AI. That's where things get a little more controversial. Canonical talks about AI native workflows, agents, troubleshooting help, document generation, personal automation, and eventually a more context-aware operating system. And that seems to be the biggest issue with Linux users because for many people, Linux is the escape hatch from Windows 11. Copilot, recall, cloud accounts, telemetry, and every other feature that somehow feels like it was designed in a boardroom to capture your data instead of something the actual users want. Yet Canonical says their approach is different. They say the default bias will be local inference, not sending your data off to, like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, or some mystery cloud service. They are also planning to use open weight models where licensing lines up with their values. Now, I know some are concerned with what are Canonical's values. Anyway, and the AI components are expected to come through snap packages. Okay, I know snaps. That's another issue for some. They could have left that part out. I'm trying to defend these guys, and then they have to throw in snaps to the story too and just make it that much more difficult. But that led to another controversy where, there will not, unfortunately, there's not going to be like a giant universal AI kill switch as I think most would like. I mean, even AI advocates, fans, I don't know, like me, it's still be nice to just shut it off. Instead, Canonical says the feature should be removed by removing the snaps that provide them. So you just have to uninstall those features by uninstalling the snaps. I don't know. It's not that hard, but it might be hard to like narrow it on each one. I'm sure somebody can just come up with a quick and easy app that's going to flip a switch and turn them all off. That can't be that hard to do as long as you keep track of what all the things are. Yeah, that seems easy enough. But for Ubuntu 26.10, these features are supposed to start as previews and be strictly opt-in. But in later releases, the idea is that Ubuntu's setup process maybe they'll ask which AI native features you want enable, or I don't know, maybe they'll just enable them all. But this is still a major shift. Canonical is clearly saying AI will be part of Ubuntu's future, not just a side project, not just a developer tool. They want AI to become part of how Ubuntu helps users interact with the system. And honestly, in my opinion, we should just get used to it. I mean, AI is definitely going to be, it's here to stay. It's going to be a huge part of everyone's future. And nobody ever succeeded fighting the future. You got farmers who clung to their horse and plow were quickly replaced by farmers using tractors. There's a saying I heard once, and I like to repeat this one a lot, so I may say it again in the future. There are those who will use AI and those who will be replaced by people who use AI. But anyways, this battle will be up to Canonical to prove that they can stick to the Linux foundational philosophies while bringing Ubuntu into a more AI future that they're envisioning. And Canonical may be taking a more thoughtful approach than Microsoft, but they're walking into a community that does not hand out trust for free, and frankly has had a lot of issues with Canonical over the years and various things. So if they pull off this vision as they paint it, maybe there'll be enough to bring me back to Ubuntu. I like shiny things.
So one of our listeners, I like, had a comment on this, and I just thought it was great and hilarious. It says, AI available on Linux? I didn't switch to Linux to have choices.
It's just amazing.
I did.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic.
That's so actually, when I saw this story first pop up, one of the things I saw was that Ubuntu is probably going to have like a first run dialogue, or during the install process, it's going to say, here's the things we offer, pick the ones that you want. And that seems like a pretty reasonable way to do it to me. I think you're right, Rob, that like we've come to the point to where AI is not going away. It's sort of proved its usefulness for the vast majority of people that have tried it in one way or another. We're not ready to hand over the keys of the kingdom to a local AI agent, which maybe that's the problem with OpenClaw and some of those. But yeah, it's definitely a bubble that will deflate, but is still going to change the world in the same way that the .NET bubble did, and all of those things. We've talked about that before. And if Canonical wants Ubuntu to be a mainstream Linux distro, then you're gonna have to play the AI game. So it makes sense. I think it's something that they're gonna have to do, and they are, they're at least going into it with their eyes wide open. They know that this is a thing that certain people are gonna hate, and so they're getting way ahead of that. Like, you can turn it off. We promise you can turn it off, and that's good. So long as they can avoid, and it sounds like, at least to me so far, they can avoid it being creepy. That's what really got Microsoft on this. Microsoft's recall, the way that it was packaged and sold, just hit people's creep factor. You don't ever want that in an operating system. You don't want your computer to be creepy. That's the fastest way to get people to not use it. And I'm reasonably optimistic for Ubuntu's future.
I'll have to say, ever since Windows 3.1, there's always been a creepy factor in Microsoft.
I mean, it is to be expected, but I've seen so much outrage online. It just blows my mind that today in 2026, people are like, oh, AI or Ubuntu's, just hurting themselves and everyone's going to jump off. And other people are like, well, what else can I use? What's better than Ubuntu now that they're doing this? And it's like the same thing with systemd. People just a few weeks ago was like, oh, what can I use that doesn't have systemd anymore? And it's like,
yeah, so I've now been in a process of being a large-ish project for a while, and I've kind of figured out that you're just going to have a noisy minority no matter what you do. Anytime you change anything, or anytime you don't change something, there's going to be some small group of people that are just angry, and they're going to let you know about it as loudly as possible. And you just kind of have to learn to live with that.
When you need to worry is when they become a noisy majority.
If you enjoyed this clip, be sure to check out the Untitled Linux Show. You can find us in your favorite podcasting app or subscribe to our YouTube channel down in the links below. See you there.